Hey y'all, welcome to Thank You for Your Obedience with your girl Sam. I am. I know. It's been a while, but just let me explain, okay? So I'm gonna give y'all both the reasons why I've been kind of like gone. The first reason is I've transitioned in a new space, and I mentioned that in another video, but now I'm able to disclose what I transitioned in. Okay, um, and to be completely honest, I've been scared. Like, I don't know. It's not necessarily like fear of anything. It's just one of those spaces where I think I'm like psyching myself out. Cause I'm like, what you doing, Sam? Like, is people really listening to you? Like, is somebody even watching this? Like, not necessarily why you wasting your time, but like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And I have been having like those moments, like, I don't know. Like, even though my last video, which was one of my favorite videos I've done so far, I've done like my most editing in there. I had, another special guest in there, and it was her first time doing an interview. So it was just like, progression. And, I felt good about the video. The artist felt good about the video. So it was just like, you would think that would gave me the momentum to just like straight up take off. But it didn't. It kind of literally scared me. Um, there go y'all niece. But just because I just kept psyching myself out. So I had to take the time to like submit that to God, in my quiet time with him, just for him to like let me know, like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, not even what you're supposed to be doing, this is what I want you to do. So more than like you want to do it for yourself, or wanting to feel like people, wanting to make sure like people hear you or anything like that, I'm literally doing this out of obedience. So I had to come back, because it's not like I ain't have nothing to say. Like, God been really guiding, and I've been like blessed from that. Here she go. Here she go. Here she go. Y'all, she almost tripped the whole camera. So that's why I was just like, I'm trying to do something different with Grace. Okay, she been acting bitter, so I'm just trying to trust her as she goes in the trash can. But we're gonna push through. Okay. Um. Yeah. First off, I just want to say thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys who actually tune in. And that's really rocking with me. I appreciate you guys. So, I'm not going to delay, because it's been a couple of weeks delay. So we're not going to do that. We're going to jump straight into it. This episode is called Don't Stop. Don't stop, y'all. And I'm not even telling y'all that. I'm telling myself that, and especially in this moment that I'm in, it's just like, don't stop. Okay? And more than just don't stop, we're going to talk about elevation and endurance. Because one thing we always pray about is God lift me up, God elevate me, God push me into the direction I need to go. But we don't necessarily like pray for that endurance to continue to maintain whatever God, blesses you with. And then we're also going to talk about balancing that which God gave you. And we're going to talk about resistance. Y'all, let's pray. Grace, say hi to the people. This y'all needs Grace. So let's hope we can get through this without me putting her in the kennel, because she's already starting. And I thought by feeding her, it would help her like go over there while I'm doing this. But it's not looking like it's working, because she just wants attention. So anyways, but yeah, like I was saying, we're also going to talk about resistance, and how our previous videos, we talked about consistency and persistence and learning the difference. Consistency, is continuing doing the same thing, that you're supposed to do. Whereas persistence is continuing to do the thing that you're supposed to do while facing adversity. Okay? To show y'all the difference. But we're going to back it up a little bit, because I told y'all God been really, blessing me and literally been showing himself in a major way. And so one thing I told y'all about was when I was at church and God laid me out. Like, when I say laid me out, like on the floor, laid me out. And I literally got up off that floor and my wrist went off. And when I say my wrist went off, my Apple Watch. My wrist went off and I had a text message. Y'all, why that was for a new job? And the most miraculous thing about it, she's like, oh, congratulations. Yeah. But let me tell y'all how God was really in there, okay? As they're picking me up off the floor, they sit me down in the chair. My wrist goes off. It was a text message from a recruiter that was just like, hey, your recruiter is on PTO right now. And so we're just trying to get your process going, but we just want to, extend the offer to you. Mind you, a lot of healthcare workers, when y'all working on Sundays, they don't be working on Sundays like that, right? So it's just like, okay, like God was just right up in it because it's just like, no way y'all are sitting here working on a Sunday. And it's not like, y'all know recruiters, okay? Y'all know hospitals recruiters. They working like Monday through Friday, period. You know what I'm saying? So to get that message as soon as I got off the floor, and it was like not just, oh, I just had a moment and just got off the floor. No, in that moment, I told you that was a young lady. She was praying over me and she was trying to get me to cry out. And I told y'all I don't know how to like cry out in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a shouter. Like, I don't know how to do it. Like, not to say it's something that we need to do, but in that moment when she's saying cry out, like I'm saying, I'm sitting there like, amen, praise the Lord. You know what I'm saying? I'm not listening to her instruction, right? And it wasn't until I did what she asked me to do that I got the blessing that I had been looking for, right? So, and even in the midst of that, like one thing about me in this season is about intentionality and proximity, period. Because I know what surrender, I already know what surrender looks like. I already know what surrender feels like. I had been surrendered this job before I even got it. Like, I was in the mental space to be like, all right, God, if you want me to have this job, cool. If you don't want me to have this job, cool. Like, I'm good either way because I had a job. And I was still grateful for the job that I had, even though I was trying to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? And so I think with me having that posture, God blessed me. But he also made me go through the transition. And my last couple of jobs, like, they kind of just been handed to me, I'm not gonna lie. This one I actually had to go through the process. And going through the process, like, I learned so much, and I was grateful for the process because it showed me that they wanted a thorough person instead of a person just trying to fill a slot, because they needed the slot filled. Even when I did my last interview, I seen the spot that was empty and I'm like, oh, this for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? They hadn't had that position filled for over a year, right? And so I went through one interview. I went through two interviews. I went through three interviews. I went through them waiting on calls and telling me I'm going to communicate this way, and they end up communicating me this way. So I'm not looking for that communication. Like, just jumping through hurdles, telling me I have an interview, and then not telling me where. You know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily telling me, like, the time or confirming the time. All those things. And so, but this is where a part of my resistance training came in, because not only, like I said, is an intentionality and proximity for me, it's also training season, right? And so now I'm in the midst of I've mastered consistency. I'm mastering being persistent, and now it's time for resistance. And what resistance training is, shout out to PMJ. Resistance training is, it's like, when you go to the gym and it's like they put this like weight band or some type of band around you, resistance band, right? And the person behind you is pulling you as you go forward. The goal is for you to continue to go forward as they're pulling you. And that's what life has become, especially for me, especially for a lot of people around me, is that we have to push even though we're being pulled. The your enemies and your outside oppressions, right? They want you to stop once you feel that resistance. But that's not the goal. You got to continue to push through. So with me doing that, it was just like I was interviewing without telling nobody. Like I told little to nobody. I told probably a couple people in my community. I didn't even tell my mom till like the last interview, like because I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want nobody asking me like, "How did it go? How was this? How was that?" You know what I'm saying? I really just wanted to trust myself and trust in God. You know, if it's for me, it's for me. If it wasn't, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to get anxious or discouraged because the whole time I was not, you know, and that's different for me, especially when I'm trying to get out of a toxic situation where I was like literally being disrespected and literally sitting to have to like accept the disrespect and be poised, like, but also like in the back of my mind, know like okay, like I know something gonna have to shake because I am not gonna have to endure this disrespect for too much longer. You know what I'm saying? Especially because I had evolved as a person. Like the stuff I was dealing with, y'all, I would have been popped. Like, and I'm not a bad person, but you can't play with my mind. You can't play with my intelligence. And what happens is I tell people the truth. Like I tell people the truth and the delivery is not always the best, right? But I've grown out of that space because it's like I said, it's about everything matters. Everything matters. Your tone, the words you're saying, your demeanor, facial expressions, everything matter because depending on how that person communicates, you can be saying something very clearly, but they see your face and they take what your face is saying instead of what your mouth is saying, right? Or you could be really pissed off, right? You could be really pissed off, but saying some really clear things and they can't hear you because they too busy like, oh, you're angry, right? It's a lose-lose situation, right? But you just have to navigate through it. Grace. Grace, can you go anywhere but here? She's having a day like right by me and she's like kicking the camera. Like she literally picked up her foot to kick it as move. Move. I can't wait to get another camera so y'all can just see her how she looking at me. It's the most disrespectful look. Like, who you talking to? That's my child for real. Like, crazy. Anyways, you really have to move. She is sitting on the camera, y'all. So, anyways, no, ma'am, we're not doing this today. So, with going through everything I was literally enduring during that time, I just knew God was going. Y'all, she is really tis. This is resistance training. Okay? This is resistance training. Because the enemy want me to stop. He want me to stop talking, right? So he gonna send a distraction, Grace, to sit here and try to like kill my vibe. But it's okay. We're gonna push through. Anyways, yeah, so I had to endure all that. But y'all, it just made me feel so good because of the simple fact, like I said, I was grateful for the process because they wanted a thorough person. And to see like because I got the job, like not only, you know, did I get through the process, but I was the best. Like it God will use your haters to let you know you was the best, right? So the interview process was going. But the one thing that I did not like And this interview process was that there was one lady that I knew from working with her in prior seasons, and she was black. That matters, okay? Because everything else I'm about to say from that point matters. She was black, and she knew my work ethic, right? But now she's interviewing me for like her job area, so I guess she's coming with the notes or whatever. And so like I had like some experience in this role, but I did not have all the way experience in that role. That's how you know God was really in it, because I didn't have experience. And so that was, as much as everybody's talking to me. This is my third interview at this point. Everybody's talking to me. Everybody's getting to know me. Everybody asks me the right questions. This lady would not really ask me a question because she was really just focused on, and mind you, she was not the hiring manager. She was just somebody in the group, because the hiring manager wanted everybody to get a vibe to make sure I fit in the culture of the environment. So she just would not take the time to like get to know me, because she was so like obsessed about me not having experience per se. However, she was also upset because she made it a point to say, like, she tried to get her friend on, and her friend had experience and still didn't get the job. That's between you, the hiring manager, and your friend. They got nothing to do with me, right? Mind you, she was the only black person that spoke to me during this whole process. And so I'm just like, okay, mind you, she knows me. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's going to be a hater somewhere, anywhere. Okay, that's cool. But I love the narrative because of the simple fact in this walk, I also learned that it was the haters that helps Jesus get to his destination, right? It wasn't the people that loved him. It wasn't the disciples. It wasn't the people. It was the people that was watching him do miracles and was like, he gotta go, right? So I get the job, right? I get the job. And I gave him 3 weeks notice instead of the 2. I gave him the 3. And more resistance training, there was so much going on in those 3 weeks, right? Um, Half of the staff got fired in that department. One of my staff members had a fight in the elevator. Okay. My manager at the time was fired 4 days before I was leaving. Y'all, she just bit me and I want to punch her. Well, you guys, that mission was not successful because she bit me and I almost flashed out, and now she's in the kennel. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, it was so much leading up to me transitioning to my job. Like, it was so much. Um and even then, like, in this space, resistance training, y'all may some of y'all might have noticed, but y'all might have didn't notice my whole last video, I had to screen record everything. I screen recorded my whole last video. Why did I screen record my whole last video? Because ding dong, me, I didn't know the fancy settings on my phone. So when I seen HD 4K, I was like, let's get that. We need clarity for the people. With clarity comes, extended capacity. And the video was like X amount of gigs, like damn near more gigs than I had on my laptop. I could not airdrop it. I could not send it. I could not down. Like, it was the struggle, y'all. So I wasn't giving up. It was a one take Drake situation. So I was just like, I cannot lose this footage, y'all. And so I didn't. I screen recorded the whole entire last video, okay? And that shows the dedication to myself and the dedication to God. Like, I'm gonna get this out by any means, okay, baby? So, yeah. That's what I mean by resistance training, y'all. Like, literally, when things, even like Grace biting me, y'all, like, I had to take a breather. I had to take a breather and I almost stopped because I'm like, I was so shooken up in my mind. Like, this is like real thoughts as they're happening, not a thought that I want to tell y'all about. Like, no, these are real thoughts that are happening. Like, I almost was just like, okay, I can't even record right now because I don't even know what to say. I can't even think right now because I damn near got a rip in my hand. So it's just like, I almost stopped. But I just said, no, what? Keep going. Just pick it back up. They love you. You love you. God loves you. It's cool. So I'm still going. Okay. And still don't really have my train of thought because it's just like, I don't know. But stay with me, y'all. Stay with it. Um, but yeah. So get the job, transition out. My staff love me, and that's one thing I'm so grateful for in this season because I did learn a lot and it helps me grow to get to where I'm at right now because, like, my manager probably, the one thing I say, I'm not like happy that somebody had to lose their job. Like, that's not okay. But that don't touch my anointing. God be watching, y'all. And I ain't gonna say he got fired because me. However, God let me see that. He let me see that. He let me see it happen before I left. Because one thing about my staff, I loved my staff and I hated for them to be under that type of leadership. Like, I hated it. And I was really concerned about like their, I don't know. I was really concerned about them. But a lot of them been looking for another job. So it's like they're gonna leave me before I get to leave them. So let me get out of here. But to know that because not only me leaving caused a shift, but my former manager leaving causing like a big shift that I knew that there was going to be change. So I was grateful for the change for the team. They might not like the change, but it's probably I don't know what the change is now, but it's probably 1,000 times better than what it was because like it just wasn't right, y'all. It just wasn't right, and that's what really caused me to just walk out. But I wasn't just like pushed out, anything like that. There was no pandemic that hit that got me out. Like, I literally walked up out of there. Like, I walked up out of them prisons, okay? Like, I walked up out of Egypt, okay? I got my training in Egypt and I got up out of there whole. That's the key right there. I got out of there whole. Cause I could have came to my another job, been angry, been this and that. I ain't said nothing. I just been grateful and giving it to God and like that's it. That's it. Right? Getting into this new job. I'm appreciated because they just like, where you going? You working where? Oh my God, thank you, because we ain't had a person in this long, and it's coming. And the department is, I'm 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 assisting like 3 different departments. Like, it's crazy up in there, and I'm just like, okay, God, okay, okay, come on, elevation. But as much as the elevation I got my time back. I got to be in the land of the living. And when I say that, I used to work at night, y'all. Now I can finally work in the day. Now I can finally let my dog out during the day. Now I can spend a little bit more time with her instead of her being cooped up in the kennel because I'm tired. Like, now I'm able to eat breakfast in the morning. Now I'm able to work out. Now I'm able to record my videos when I get off of work and not trying to do them before I get to work. It's just like I got a quality of life back. And that's what I'm grateful for. So, because I got the blessing, now I have to pray for the endurance to continue to maintain everything. And not only that, can continue to balance. Because I got all these things, I'm in this space, and I'm like, okay. Now I got time to do my pod. Now I got time to do this. Now I got time to record more videos. Now I got time to interview more people. Now I got time. Now I got time. Now I got time. Now I got time. And one of my mentors was really just like, Sam, I think I want you to like take a breather for a little bit and to like balance out, you know, what you got going out right now, because she hears somebody at the door and it's just the neighbor. She's so nosy. Like, she is so nosy. Um, but she said that because you have to, and she didn't say these words, but these are my words. You have to steward, you know, what you just got. So you got to kind of like level out, balance it out, because even success too fast can be destructive, right? And so that's honestly why I took some time too, because I took that take heed, because I'm like, instead of me trying to rush and be like, oh my God, I ain't recorded. I already been like a little finicky with the reels, because like I'm learning as I go, y'all. Like, I do everything. I do all this by myself. Like, and not to say I couldn't get help from somebody else, but because of how the content goes, how the scheduling goes, or was going, all I had was me. For a second, me, you, and God. That's all I had. And so, I just be trying to like learn everything, and things have been coming out really great. Things have come out really great. Like I said, the author from the last interview I did, she was so pleased with the video, and I was pleased too, because I was really editing, y'all. Like, I was really editing. Okay, so yeah. Let me see what else is in my notes, because I was over here trying to like just go for what I know, but I'm telling you, Grace biting me and me having to stop, it just like stopped what I had to say. I'll be up. Okay, work, new job, work week, dope. Okay, I've never told y'all about that hater. That hater blessed me, right? So she also proceeded to say to me, as she had to train me, she low key assaulted me, but it was cool. Um, she was like, I was the only black person, or I guess, yeah, I was the only black person. I'm not gonna say person of color, because it was probably other people there, but I was the only black person that interviewed, and she was like, I was a little skeptical, because you know how we are. I understand what you're saying, but you gonna say that to my face, ma'am? Like, come on now. I also learned that there was other friends of the staff that had interviewed, and I was better than all of them, and I didn't have any experience. If that ain't God, I don't know what is. Okay, and I didn't know none of the people. I knew her for working in a different season, but she didn't even know I was the one she was going to interview, right? So then, of course, she is. It's gonna come out so bad, but it's always some church folks that just be like real honest, and it just be a vibe of some older church folks, right? And so a couple of them had the book. Gosh, Jesus is here. There's some book that they all had, and I was asking like, was it good? And she was like, yeah, it's real good. I know we had got to talking about God a little bit, and because I'm gonna talk about God wherever I go. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna talk about him. And so we was talking about him, and so this lady had bought her something. She liked those little turquoise like situations. And so she put it on, and she was just so excited, so emotional about it. Literally right after she put it on, somebody called on the phone, and their name was Turquoise. And she was like, oh my God, Turquoise, that's so cute. I said, that was God, right? I said, you just opened your gift. You just told me how Turquoise was your favorite, and then Turquoise called you. That was God. And she was like, I didn't put that all together. That was God. And then from there, she started saying, this job was ordained for you because da 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 da. And you were the best. You got the highest ratings, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, God, use her. Use her to give me some confidence because I don't know what I'm doing once again. Okay. And so what also gave me more confidence is that I met the person that I was replacing because she came in and I knew her from prior working in another area. And I literally said, "Oh, that's you?" I told all my trainees, no offense, if she can do it, I can do it. And they was like, "Oh yeah, 'cause she was a mess." Like, straight up and down. But even in the midst of that, I'm training, and this guy puts this bag down on the table. And when the lady got back, she opened the bag and she had gifted me with the book. Jesus is Calling. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Apparently that's a book that everybody be reading, and she was gifted. So she gifted me that book, and she gifted it to me as like a daily calendar. So it like sits on my desk, and it's a day by day scriptures as if God was talking to you. God will literally make your enemies your footstool. Period. Okay. God is making the enemy my footstool right now because I am enduring a lot of resistance right now with just this one video. Oh my God. Like, but we're going to get through. But yeah, like I said, that lady blessed me. And like, had I gone in there with my preconceived notions, even though they were about me, and then acting a certain way, I wouldn't have got a blessing. And y'all probably say that wasn't a blessing, but it was. It really was a blessing. Any type of godly situation from somebody, and it's genuine because just talking to the lady and seeing how she interact with people, that's just her. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, an encounter with me, might make her a better person. But that's just who she is. And I appreciate her being her authentic self. And I still got blessed in the meantime. Okay? So, yeah. And also, something that I want to point out is about how I feel like I was blessed and how it was kind of accelerated a little bit because I changed my posture. I made it a point to tell y'all like that, like I get on my knees and pray now. Like I legit get on my knees and pray now. And you would think that I had been doing that because you would think that was the traditional way of prayer. It is, but when you are walking a certain way, some things you bust out of tradition because it holds God in a box. But as you get closer and you have a better relationship and a better encounter with God, some things you have to revert back to. And I think it was very reassuring that recent past Sunday, my pastor even said, like, as close as me and my pastors are, like, I don't be in a business, I don't be in a mix, I don't talk to them a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm just very supportive and I'm very engaging. But otherwise, like, I know that, I don't know that, but experiencing how people come and dump on me all the time, like, having a conversation, being a pastor, and being, so close to everybody I feel like it's still a lot. And so, it's always for sure God and a confirmation from God when I get those confirmations that something I've already implemented in my life, and God gonna let me know like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, because He'll come right back and speak it through a man or woman of God that I'm listening to currently. It's not like I be digging for words and then they pop up and it's be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I said. No, like they be very current for him to confirm what I said that he said, to make sure that I listen to him clearly. And so, one thing my pastor talked about was getting on your knees, and we were doing this in the middle of like worship, where because our worship be all mixy, so we don't care. God gets the glory. Period. Um, he talks about, some of y'all have to change y'all posture because y'all standing up. Y'all too busy showing y'all strength. Y'all have to surrender, and not necessarily surrender. Well, you do have to surrender, but some of y'all need to change y'all posture, get on y'all knees to show y'all weakness so God can be strong. And in that moment, I almost didn't want to do it. I don't know. It'd be pride. It really be pride, and it'd be like, I don't want all these people looking at me. You know what I'm saying? But not nobody be worried about you. Get what you need to get from God and be obedient. Okay? Like, just be obedient. And I just changed my posture with my community, and it felt good. Like, it really felt good to continue to be obedient and watch God bless me in the midst of it, right? So yeah, this one was kind of all over the place because it was a struggle. It was a struggle to come back, right? Um, and I think that's why it was so much quote unquote resistance. Like, I think that's why it was so much like, ugh, getting through this episode was a lot. Like, to be honest with you. And so, and it's not because it's like, oh, something going on in my heart or anything like that. Like, nah, it's just it's something going on up here a little bit, right? It has nothing to do with my emotions. It's just my mental, and trying not to psych myself out. So, but I feel like I got a gist of what I wanted to say out. So, next episode will be better, and y'all hold me to that. But again, thank y'all. Thank y'all for believing in me more than I believe in myself sometimes. And I think that's why I have to come here. I don't come here to say my truth to get praise or nothing like that. But I do come here to say my truth to show people who do feel like I'm a brick wall that I got stuff going on too, right? So, but I'm continuing to be persistent through it. I'm not gonna let y'all down. I'm not gonna let God down. I'm not gonna let myself down. So, again, thank y'all. I love y'all. Um, until next time, peace. And y'all needs Grace over there. She'll see y'all later. Bye.